Hey, welcome back to Final Trade. So, this is the 6,000 card bulk vintage box that I got off of eBay that I was showing a couple episodes ago. And I went ahead and got it all unsleeved. I decided to go ahead and do that. It only took about 2 hours or so. And sorted it by set. I haven't sorted it by color yet, but what I found out, I started putting them into some of those big BCW 3200 boxes, and it became apparent that it probably wasn't 6,000 cards. So I took them out and I weighed them on a kitchen scale, and I measured the length of the rows and compared that to measurements that I got from just 100 cards, both weight and length. And I figured out that it was only about 4,800 cards advertised as 6,000. And I think what happened is the almost all the cards that I got were sleeved. And I think the guy who sold them to me just didn't quite realize that, hey, sleeves have a thickness and they add up, especially when most of the cards are sleeved. So I sent him a message on eBay, and he was really nice about it, and I was really nice. Just trying to be like, hey, dude, it looks like this isn't as many cards. It's about 4,800. Here are my calculations from the length and the weight of the cards, and you know, what do you want to do about it? And so he's really nice. He sent me a message back, and he just said, "Hey, I'll give you an appropriate refund for part of the order that's short." And I said, "Hey, that's good. I agree to that. I think that's fair." And then I went ahead and bought another box from him that'll be coming in a few days. But I just wanted to show a little bit of this and just talk about some of what can happen when you buy these bulk lots of off of eBay. I guess the first piece of advice I'd give you is you are not going to find Power 9 in these bulk lots. No matter what they say, no matter what the repacks say, no matter how much like an awesome lottery it looks, there will be no Power 9 in them, ever. Second is you really need to spend some time just looking at bulk card lots. Just look at the listings, look at the kind of words people use to describe them, look at the photos, examine them really closely. Try to understand what you're buying. It's the same thing I tell people with used cars. Figure out what kind of used car you want, and then look around for months, maybe, for a used car at least. This isn't nearly as critical a purchase, but look around for a long time and try and figure out what the actual value is. What are you going to have to pay to get what you want? And the same thing will hold true with these lots of old cards. Um, and almost always they're already searched for all the rares, all the reserve lists, most of the commons. I mean, the advertisement for this one said that much, that hey, you're not going to find any like great cards in here, and I was okay for that with that for the price. And what I was looking for is exactly what you're seeing here. It's a lot of 4 copy play sets. So um, just keep all that in mind. Sometimes you will find lots that appear to be real collections that have not been searched. The problem with those is a lot of times they're being sold by people who don't really know how relatively little magic cards are worth. And so there's one I've been looking at on eBay for a few days now, and I'm trying to decide if I'm just going to make an offer on it or what. But I kind of did some very crude image analysis trying to figure out how many cards were in this box, and the guy's story is, oh hey, my stepdad, he gave me this collection and now I'm just gonna sell it, whatever. And he has no other feedback on eBay from selling magic cards, so it seems kind of plausible. But he wants $1,800 for what appears to be about 1,000 magic cards. And unless they were all alphas and betas, you really can't ask $1,800 for about 1,000 random magic cards. Even if it's not searched, even if it's original opened cards with all their rares in there, and it has relatively high value. And yeah, the photos that he posts with it, he shows a crusade, he shows a lotus petal in the stack somewhere. There's some other rares, and so maybe it's unsearched, but the reality is 1,000 cards just isn't worth that. So keep those kind of things in mind when you're looking at buying bulk lots on eBay. it's kind of hard to get a grasp of, hey, what's it worth? What's it going to cost me to try and get something? Because, there are a lot of bulk lots out there on eBay that will say things like, oh, 50 green magic cards, vintage, unlimited. And you look at the photo and it's just like the most worthless stuff. It's all commons. And it's like, man, did somebody just assemble all of this off of TCG Player for $5 or $6 and now they're selling it on eBay for $40? And I know there's some, what they're hoping is that some unsophisticated buyers will come by and they'll say, hey, I'm nostalgic for this and that's cool. And, those cards are they're only 50 cents each, not understanding that you could pick them up on TCG Player for 5 cents each. So, those are just some of the pitfalls to look for when buying bulk cards. But overall, after I got the price adjusted from the seller on this, I'm really happy with it. Really big stack of Mirage, an even bigger stack of Visions. That's probably the biggest stack. Maybe this 5th edition stack is biggest. Weatherlight, Tempest, Stronghold, Exodus, Urza's Saga. Did it go Urza's Legacy is next, and then Urza's Destiny? Mercadian Mask, kind of getting small piles. Nemesis, that was the last set that was represented. Funny thing is these 4th edition cards, you can tell they pulled them out of a very well sorted set, because virtually every card in here is A, B, C, or D named card. There's nothing from later in the alphabet, or if there aren't many. And then a tiny little stack of Revised. That's pretty cool. Homelands, lots of Chronicles. I was excited for that. I wasn't expecting to get Chronicles. It's kind of an unloved set. And then Ice Age, pretty good set of Ice Age. Let's see, no Fallen Empires, and no, let's see, was the flag, I can never remember, is the flag Alliances? I forget the sets. There's a couple in there that are after the 4 initial ones. It's the next batch of 4. And there was none of the 4th one of those, so I can't think of it off the top of my head. But yeah, overall this came out to about 3.5 cents a card for tons of commons. There's a few uncommons sprinkled in here. There are no uncommons once you start hitting Exodus, the little bridge symbol here, because that's when they started marking the color of the rarity on the symbol. And so the set, and probably most sets you will buy on eBay, are thoroughly searched for those. So because it's very simple for them to just, take a stack like this, hold it upside down, and go, and pick out all the silver and gold colored ones. So if you do buy a bunch on eBay, expect them to be searched, unless they're much later cards and they're from mass box openings and people are just trying to get rid of them, or, the auction says, hey, 100 rares or something like that. So try and keep all that in mind. Take your time, look at a lot of auctions. Don't get excited and just buy the first thing you see, because there are a lot of crappy auctions on eBay for old vintage cards, even for new cards, any type of bulk lot auction. Just take your time, get familiar with what's for sale, get familiar with the keywords people use to describe them, and no, there will never be Power 9.